Thank you very much. I'm back with my laptop. Okay, so we have Adenike Adeyemi, that she will be connected remotely with us. Let me start to call the people that will come here in person. We have Carmela Ostillio. She's an associated professor of practice at the Bocconi School of Management. Then we have Messeni Petruzzelli, Professor of Innovation Management. Last but not least, Martina de Giovanni. Yeah, should we?
I think we have the video queued up, so I think we'll start with Adenike Adeyemi's video so we can get that done first. I think we have people standing by with that. Yep, I think we're going that right now.
Good morning, Taiwo, esteemed panelists and distinguished attendees of the Creative Economy Forum in Italy. I deeply regret that I cannot be with you in person today due to visa challenges, but I am absolutely delighted to share Faith Foundation's perspective via this video. Thank you, Taiwo, and the organizers for ensuring this critical conversation on innovation and global markets continues. At Faith Foundation, we have spent 25 years building the entrepreneurship pipeline in Nigeria. Our focus is clear: to ensure the creative and industrial energies of our young people and population at large translate into scalable, globally competitive businesses. First, we leverage our digital backbone and our AI strategy. Through platforms like the msmehub.org, we deliver foundational knowledge at scale. This allows entrepreneurs in Lagos, Kano, or Enugu to access world-class content using a baseline of quality and relevance. Secondly, our commitment to quality is upheld through a train-the-trainer model. We focus intensely on certifying local trainers, mentors, and partners who possess deep contextual knowledge of their specific regional economies. And so, by empowering local champions, we achieve reach without sacrificing the critical factor of local adaptability that defines success in complex markets like ours. Our work does not stop at empowering local and individual entrepreneurs. It extends to redesigning systems so they actually work for small businesses. The most stubbornly resistant system we have faced is the traditional financial ecosystem approach to risk and collateral. Access to adequate patient finance remains the number one bottleneck to scaling small and growing businesses into industrial players. We don't try to shift this resistance through protests, we shift it through data and convening power. Our strategy involves using our division called the Faith Institute to commission evidence-based research like our annual State of Entrepreneurship in Nigeria report. These reports act as our data weapon, providing irrefutable evidence of the economic cost of excluding small and growing businesses. We then use these data-driven roadmaps to convene the decision makers through our annual policy dialogue series. One is happening on the 19th of November. And we bring in ministers, regulators, and the banks to collaboratively design solutions, effectively turning abstract policy questions into concrete, financially viable investment cases. This approach of evidence-driven advocacy is slow, but it is the only way to achieve genuine, systemic, and sustainable change that benefits millions of entrepreneurs and not just hundreds. Finally, leading a nonprofit in a dynamic, resource-constrained environment involves constant trade-offs. Sustaining leadership, both personally and organizationally, comes down to clarity and diversification. My personal resilience is anchored in our mission. That's the North Star that restores energy. For Faith Sustainability, the focus is on diversification. As a nonprofit, we diversify our funding base away from reliance on any single partner, and crucially, our leadership bench. We actively innovate, through programs like our new AI upskilling initiative, and we prioritize nurturing the next layer of leadership within our organization. I am not the founder of Faith, but the founder of Faith deemed it well to create a platform where other leaders like myself can continue to exemplify what they determine to be the Faith vision and create impact long after it was founded. And true sustainability is achieved when the vision is institutionalized and the pipeline of future leaders is strong and ready to take the baton. The creative economy is a powerful engine for global transformation, and Africa's entrepreneurs are ready to lead that charge. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to contribute, and I wish you a very successful forum. Thank you.
Fantastic. So let's start with Maria, Associate Professor of Practice at the Bocconi School of Management, Consumer Behavior, Marketing Communications, your skills.
Yes.
And you are from Puglia, right?
Yes, I can tell.
Let us know a little bit more about
absolutely,
yourself.
Absolutely. I'd like to start with this
That's
story.
why I'm here.
You know that here now we are like storyteller, and so we need to be authentic, and we need to give some chance to you for knowing us better about our origin. I'd like to start with, something about authentic, because I think is one of the questions that everybody has inside. A new book from a professor of Harvard, he wrote this book about, there is a lot of bad thing about authenticity. Pay attention that authenticity can be a fade word, but on the other side, you need to be adaptive. That's important, because you need to be yourself, but at the same time, you need to know very well what are you talking about, with which kind of people are you talking about. That's the authenticity. Otherwise, you cannot be adaptive, okay? So this is my starting point. Why? Because I think, first of all, I prefer to speak in Italian, as you can imagine. And for me, every time to speak in English it's really hard. And what I did, I used the 80th iPhone to write everything that I could tell more and better. And I used to put everything is here. So, speaking about my origin, image to wake up every day in front of a deep blue Ionian Sea. These are my origin. I come from Taranto. And Taranto is just in the hill of the boot of Italy boot, and is in charge of the Gulf of Taranto. But at the same time, I was grown there, my childhood was there. Now I live elsewhere, but I bring with me the identity of my city, the accent of my city. When I was outside, the American people say, oh, it's nice, because it is exotic. I hated my accent, but it's here. So what I have to do? And the third one is that my pride to bring with me my origin. If you know Taranto, and if you don't know, you have to know Taranto, you can understand what I thought from my city. First of all, the resilience. The second one is the sense of community and the sense of belonging. The third one is more important than the other, but I have the sense of vision and of something like inspiring. And if you think about us here in Bari, I share the same value of this forum. That's why I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. That's the first origin. The second one is my profession, my journey, my professional journey. I teach from a long time in Bocconi University. I have been there for more than 30 years. And I took my MBA in Bocconi, and I stayed there because I love what? So I started to, I work on the different disciplines as marketing, branding, and communication. These are my three main disciplines on which I work during my life, but they are not disciplines, they are my passion. I like what I do, and I think that I like for example, you can think that branding is strategy. It's not. Branding is something that you are inside and you have to convince, and you have to build trust by branding. So it's really, really important for me, and I hope to share with you some tips or some for your curiosity about branding. Absolutely. Thanks.
Wow, fantastic. What an introduction. I was thinking when you were talking that you said every day, imagine wake up every day and have this blue ocean, deep blue sea in front of you.
Yes.
You imagine if you come where I come from, that every day you wake up, you have the smell of pigs and fog. It's like very different.
You have to change.
upbringing.
That's why.
Yeah, but you can choose where you come from, though. Both Italian, fantastic. So Antonio Messeni Petruzzelli. The first thing that I saw when I saw your
You are
your
the owner
profile,
of this theater.
No, the owner.
he owns the whole theater, by the way.
No.
He owns the theater.
You have 180 international publications. Please tell us your story.
No, okay. I'm not the owner, but this has been built by my grandfather.
Wow.
Okay, so.
Clapping for the grandfather.
Yeah, grandfather, okay.
Great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
Welcome
yeah.
at your home.
Sorry?
Welcome at your home.
More or less. Okay, no, I've started to work in the academia more than 20 years ago. So I have created all my activity are related to one main field that is also my main interest is innovation management, which can be declined along a variety of arguments. I have started this topic within my university here in Politecnico, University of Bari, and then I've created a group, both located here and also abroad. I've spent some time abroad in Spain, for instance, and I have created a network of collaboration. So, of course, these research output are extremely dependent of my capability, in a certain sense, to be part and to orchestrate a large network of collaboration.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Martina, can you introduce yourself? When I was reading your profile, there is this mixing of skills between engineering and fashion. It's like, that's fantastic.
Acceso.
It's not working. We have plenty of microphones. Check that one.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. Yes, I am the Martina that Professor Corallo mentioned before. I am a research fellow at CoreLab, a research laboratory belonging to the Department of Innovation Engineering at the University of Salento. I am a management engineering, and my background is an industrial engineering background. But when I was a child, I have a passion for fashion sector in general. But during my bachelor study journey, I thought that it was almost impossible to combine my background, my engineering study, to my passion for fashion. And then at the final stage of my master degree, I developed a master thesis about about how algorithm and the optimization of algorithm can be applied in particular in production and production planning and scheduling particularly in the fashion sector. So it was a light for me, this. And then I worked for 5 years in this research laboratory, and even if Professor Angelo Corallo involved me in different research projects that are a matrix far away the fashion sector. In this last period, he tried to involve me in a project about the fashion sector, and in order to capitalize the knowledge that I reached in these last years, when I worked about digitalization of agri-food sector in general, in manufacturing industry, in environmental sector, in this fashion sector. So I'm honored to be here today, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Yourself in a nutshell. So, Maria, one of the questions that I really want to ask, I'm sure you have a good answer, is about social expectations, stakeholder activism, brand purpose. We talk a lot about that, especially within the creative sector. But can a firm be authentic and commercially viable?
Yes. So, you know, all of us love new words. And brand purpose or brand activism, they are words that we love. And on the other side, that's the bad habits of professor. The professor want to fill of concept. They want to conceptualize what they are telling about. So for having a good concept about brand purpose and brand activism, that's the starting point, I'd like to ask you one thing, and think about that. When was the last time you choose a brand, not just for what it sells, but for what it stands for? Think about maybe snakers that plant trees, or coffee and chocolates that supports their fair trade. So today, brand purpose, it's not a bonus, it's expected. As you expected from these brands, everybody expected brand purpose. And there is, in storytelling, they call this climax, or peak in the experience. We can call this catalyst moment is pandemic, okay? Is the pandemic time, the COVID, and this accelerated a shift. It heightened about the social pressure, about the stakeholder activism, and consumer awareness about ethical and responsible business practices, making brand purpose a key factor for purchasing decision. And all of these have changed the game. In fact, companies and brands now are judged not just for their products, but for their principles. And now, I can try to give you an answer, exactly an answer, to the idea of both authentic and commercially viable. And sorry, let's take a step back and thinking about one of Peter Drucker is one of the main user manager. In the 1958 said, marketing integrates, sorry, I need to read because I don't remember, okay, these sentences, this and the other one that is coming. Marketing integrates the economy into society to serve human needs. First, some years later, American Marketing Association, as in 2017, remind us that marketing creates offerings that deliver value, not just to customer, but to society at large. So, the purpose was inside marketing at the beginning. It's a part of its DNA. So, marketing is a way to find, to sell, and to commercialize something about an idea and some principle. What is changed now is the level of scrutiny, okay? So, why purpose is so, let's say, important, so relevant? Because it builds trust, it builds loyalty, and given positive externalities, because there are benefits for community, benefits for people, benefit for society, benefit for planet. And think about Patagonia, or think about Unilever. So, for them, purpose isn't a campaign, it's a business model. So these companies change everything. But what I like a lot are some tips, or better to say, some managerial inspiration coming exactly from Unilever. And Unilever suggests a framework just to have a good, let's say, brand purpose framework. One, inspire real behavioral change, starting from inside and going outside. In this sense, purpose doesn't fit the brand management. If purpose doesn't fit the brand management, its capability, its, let's say, decision, it feels fake, first. Second, gain strong internal support. What is the meaning? You can't play alone. So, you can ignore your stakeholder and shareholder. In this sense, you need to balance profit and impact. Now it's necessary. Third, use robust measurement system. So, evaluate the impact in the past, but impact of what we are doing. And fourth, build partnership with people with or company with complementary skills and resources, because you cannot do everything alone. So, brands like Patagonia and Unilever, they practice brand activism. So, they didn't use just statement, they act in the world. That's the important thing. And most of their marketing, of their, let's say, of their initiatives, they comes from decision about marketing, a lot of different. Think about Patagonia against Trump. Think about Patagonia, don't buy this jacket. Think about of everything they did. Not just communication. They are principles. And they believed in this principle, this company. So, now the last part that you asked me. You say, do well by doing good. How we can do that? So, the important thing is that purpose is a part of strategy. Purpose isn't seasonal. So it's not like a season and you have to follow purpose. It's a long-term commitment. It becomes your identity. It guides innovation, partnership, and performance metrics. So there is this, we use this triple bottom line of brand purpose. Profitability, consumer satisfaction, and social impact. So in this way, the brand purpose can be commercially viable. And I have a suggestion for you. The next time you choose a brand, or you are going to build one, ask yourself, is this purpose just painted on, or is part of the foundation? Because the brands that win won't just have a slogan, they have a system. One that creates impact that matters, then returns can last. Did you receive your answer?
Whoa, yes. Good. Should we stay with you a little bit? It's not probably part of the script, but how about the opposite? So when brands do something and destroy their credibility, or instead of adding value, there is a lot of boycotting movements around the world.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
Think about Nike, and when they decided to use Kaepernick for the campaign, all the customers of Nike burned all the shoes because they didn't believe that crazy dream is a dream, and you have to believe in the dream. So you have to be courage, you know? You have to be courage, and if you believe in that purpose, you have to change all the organization, everything. And so otherwise, you have to invest on that.
But can you tell me something more, for example, about greenwashing?
Yes.
Because what you're saying is all good, but I think a lot of companies, they're not really doing what they're saying, but it's just a big marketing operation.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, one thing is the tactical one. You know that now against greenwashing is the ashwing. Is like to say, I don't speak, so I don't tell you anything, so you cannot attack me, okay? This is one. But this is tactical, okay? On the other side, and then we come back to storytelling, to the brand. If it is part of your strategy, if it is part of brand purpose, if it is part of your let's say, identity, you cannot be attacked because it's your strategy. You have to go ahead. So in this case, you know, the enemies are everywhere and they try to attack you every time. If you are friends or they are not friends, but you have to have courage to go home every time, because in that, otherwise, is a tactical, is a tool, is not exactly your strategy. And maybe in a simple way, you have to be authentic, you know.
That's it.
You don't have to promise something that you cannot do. Otherwise, you can fail your credibility. And credibility and reputation are, I think, the most important thing for a branding.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you. Let's move on to Antonio. So the question here is, how do you help companies combine different ideas? And when we think about combining different ideas, it's mostly about, on one side there is research, IT, engineering, and on the other side, design, creativity, all of those. How do you guide the firms to create new products, new services? How do you do that?
Okay. First of all, I don't have a recipe about this, but I have just some highlights. First of all, let me say that we have to start from the assumption that the innovation process can be conceptualized as a process of search and recombination. So it's a process of recombinant search. So we need to make two elements. We need to search piece of knowledge, that are different. Okay? And then we have the capability to recombine this piece of knowledge in an unexpected way. So in a certain sense, we can use the metaphor of Lego, no? The innovation process, you need bricks, but you need different bricks. Otherwise, the recombinant opportunity tend to be finite. Okay? But also, if I give the same bricks to different people, perhaps they create different things because they have different recombinant capability. So for starting from the assumption that putting together different piece of knowledge, like, I don't know, IT, design, engineer, humanities, is not, need to be let me say, the routine, need to be the routine of the innovation process, because innovation comes from diversity. So what I think is important to stimulate diversity can be stimulated at different level, at individual or team level, at organizational level or at inter-organizational level. So, for instance, it's important to have in the team people that can be considered as broker operating across multiple domains, because these people that are in a certain sense, can be conceptualized in a certain sense as marginal respect to a domain, can bring innovation from other domains. For instance, here in Bari, in Puglia, we have seen the birth of the common rail, no, which is one of the most, let me say, breakthrough technology in the automotive industry. And this technology has been developed by a physicist, a people coming from different backgrounds. It was not a mechanical engineer. It was the first man, let me say, that applied electronics into the mechanics. So the recombination of two apparently distant fields was the first mechatronics application. So the first element, I think, at the team level is to have in the team people that act as a broker. At the organizational level, it's important from my side to stimulate rotation among people in the function, the activity, because I don't know, marketing calls from some issue from R&D can need from some issue from design and something like this. No, so having the possibility to be exposed to different stimuli may allow to sustain this recombination. Until at the inter-organizational level, we are more and more operating in a scenario where difficult for companies to have all the competence inside. So they have to work outside. They need to search for knowledge across geographical boundary. They need to search for knowledge across industrial boundary. Establishing collaboration across industry, across multiple and different industry, may allow company to, let me say, bring something that can be useful for solving their issue, for innovating. So what I want to say is that innovation sometimes is a process of applying the right knowledge to your issue, to your problem. So there is a cost of finding this right knowledge, and sometimes this right knowledge belongs to different people, to different domains, to different organizations. So we need to be, let me say, open to collaborate. We create the mechanisms for making this openness as a routine.
Wow. Would you consider us in the mixture of what you said also different ethnical background? Would it be an added value? For example, in countries like the US or the UK, they are much more ethnical diverse. Do you think maybe in Italy this one is, it can be a limitation?
Of course, coming to the US, no, one of the most relevant scholar for the creativity was Richard Florida, which is about 3 ingredients. One of the ingredients from this creativity is tolerance, and tolerance comes from different people, also from different ethnic backgrounds. So, of course, but let me say, coming to this issue, I think that it's important not just and not only to be open, but also and especially to integrate, because if there are also a lot of countries in Europe that we say that are open, but are less able to integrate. Perhaps the difficulty is not only that to be open, but that to integrate. Otherwise, it's like any piece of knowledge tend to remain, let me say, marginal to your process, and so it's not, it's useless, or tend to be less useful than it can be.
Fantastic, very interesting. In terms of exploration versus improvement, I've seen it, I think about the new iPhone 17, but doesn't. Many companies only try to improve what they already do. How do you counsel firms to explore into new direction, new boundaries, without obviously failing?
Yeah. Let me say, first of all, that firms need to make both. Need to explore, of course, new knowledge, new domain, new technological trajectory, but also need to exploit what they already know, because most, let me say, of competitive organization can be considered as ambidextrous organization. They need to be able to simultaneously explore and exploit, because exploitation allows company to survive in the short term. Exploration instead allows company to survive in the long term. But the issue is that these two different innovation approach call for different routine, for different resources, call for different organizational process. So it's difficult to make they simultaneously alive. What can be done, what has been done by a number of organizations is to, let me say, assure this kind of ambidexterity through the use of organizational arrangements. So having, for instance, organizational units that are dedicated to explore, and different other organizational units, so other people that are instead, was goal is instead to exploit. Also because in terms of, for instance, KPI, no, it's completely different. You can measure exploitation, no, you need to improve along a well-known trajectory. Also the uncertainty is lower. Instead, if you need to explore, it's more difficult to bound within a given process, a given routine, this approach. So you need to also leave the people more free to operate. There is the old story of the first Macintosh that has been developed following this approach. Now Steve Jobs created another unit operating another building distant from the traditional Apple because he was in charge of operating with a different product, not just with an operating system, but for the development of a personal computer. So it's important, I think, to create different, let me say, not just different organizations, but different organizational units. So of course, this is more let me say, easy for big corporations, maybe more complex for SMEs. But this exploration can be done also using external actors, innovation intermediary that can allow to sustain exploration, but also to dedicate part of the time of resources to this activity. Because otherwise, I think it's important to, if I don't mistake, I remember a sentence by Jeff Bezos, no, they say, each company needs to fail. My duty is to make Amazon fail more longer than possible. So the issue is that exploration allows the company to, let me say, avoid to fail, because sometimes new innovation enter into the market and your expertise, your competence to become obsolete. So you need, of course, to identify new trajectory for innovating your activity, your model, your organization.
Fantastic. And how do you see the fact that in Italy we have such a limited venture capitalist market? So it's not really private investors throw money into companies. You know, our mentality is more conservative. The VC market is very limited. Do you think this cripple the innovation?
Of course, because when you discuss about innovation, one of the opportunities is that of innovation is an investment, first of all. But differently from other type of investment is characterized by uncertainty, okay? Because there is a technological uncertainty. You don't know, if you are able to find the solution the right time, and you have a market uncertainty because you don't know if people are buy your product, and also if you don't know if other competitors may copy, no? And so may appropriate the value that you generated. But in terms of the VC market, I think it's progressing now, but it's also in an early stage, and I think it is a risk attitude. We don't have the attitude to risk as in other countries. For instance, what I think is extremely lacking in Italy is the pre-seed, because when we discuss about the pre-seed, so the capability to identify also some, let me say, early stage idea that can come from the university, that can come from other organizations, from other contexts. Sometimes, in my personal experience, the venture capital asks for the same metrics of round A, round B. So it's extremely complex, but they give the money of an early stage. So there is, let me say, an imbalance between what they are disposed to do and what they call for, what they ask from the startup, from the team, or from the inventor. So, of course, the limited capability to invest, to risk in innovation is one of the barriers to stimulate innovation itself.
Wow. Fantastic, thank you very much. A couple of things come to my mind. I have a friend, he's a Sicilian, he's an entrepreneur. He wanted to launch his business. The idea behind was fantastic. He contacted some VC venture capitalists. They say, yes, we're going to give you the money, but the headquarters must be in London. If it's in New York, it's even better. If you're in Italy, we're not going to give you the money because it's way too complicated. And when we were there before with Longevity Food, we had a chat with the commercial director. And I was thinking, if that company would be in the US, probably to throw to him 2-3 million would be like overnight.
Of course. Just on the pitch.
That's it, just from a pitch. Fine, thank you very much. Martina, we haven't forgot you, huh? So, we already highlight your engineering skills with a curious and creative mindset. So consider your research on methodological and technological solution. How do you believe innovation in this field can drive growth and sustainability within the creative economy and global markets?
Yes, in my opinion, innovation is one of the main drivers for sustainable growth in modern economies, but I think that it allows industries to rethink the traditional business model to create something new that is more efficient and also socially inclusive and environmental responsible. From one end, innovation is what generates transform ideas into value, but innovation can't exist without creativity. Creativity is the base of innovation, in my opinion, because creativity transform ideas. So these two concepts, I think that these two concepts influence and inspire each other. And from my background, my engineering background, I'm sure that science, technology, engineering, mathematics, that are the so-called STEM disciplines, are obviously relevant, important to provide, let's say, the technical tools to innovate, but without something like soft skills such as creativity, communication, curiosity, that is a fundamental aspect in my opinion. Innovation can't exist. Another important aspect, in my opinion, is creativity that go with aesthetics, because aesthetics it's something that allows a product to go beyond their simple functionality. Their simple functionality, I think that creativity and aesthetic are relevant because allows to a product to not only work, but also to create a meaningful value and engage for users. And this aspect we can see this aspect also in the industrial panorama, in which the transition from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0, we can see that not only the aspects related to efficiency, productivity, digitalization of industry are relevant, but in this transition we can see the introduction of all other aspects more strictly related to human side, all the aspects related to the social perspective, sustainability, and resilience perspectives. So finally, I think that the introduction of methodological approaches like design thinking or human-centered design are very, very relevant and important to reach a sort of added value in innovation.
Now, a little bit of a biased question, because this is exactly what I do for a living. But when you think about the interdisciplinary between what we mentioned, engineering, management, and the creative sector one, do you think those are really able to transform in the traditional industries, such as fashion? And the bonus question is, if so, why in Italy we fall 10, 15 years behind countries like China, or even just Portugal, for example, or India, within the digitalization of the supply chain? What's your thoughts on that?
I reply to this last point. I think that in Italy we are more nearest to aesthetics in general. So very often the digitalization part is less strong. Because we love beauty, all the aesthetic side in any sector. But before to reply, I want to spend a few words about my research laboratory to explain the concept of multidisciplinarity. I work in this research laboratory at Università of Salento, and we are about 60 people. We are not only engineers, but in my research laboratory we gather a lot of competencies: economists, biologists, psychologists, and so on. And so our multidisciplinarity allows us to capitalize our knowledge in the research project that we worked on. So I could mention several multidisciplinarity projects in which I worked on, but today I want to spend a few words about maybe the project that is nearest to my heart, to my passion, and it is a project in which I worked. That is MED project. MED project is an Italian project. It is probably an example in which multidisciplinarity and creative consist and lives together. This Italian project gathered the expertise of different competencies, like the physicist, from ENFN of Gran Sasso is National Institute of Nuclear Physics, that is the leader of the project, and my research laboratory of engineers, and we involved also Amet Lab company under the Rostorame brand, that is a fashion company. And I want to thank Daniele Del Genio in this occasion. I want to thank Daniele Del Genio for its continuous support and contribution. And in this project, MED aims to conceptualize and to design and to realize in a sort of of prototypes, some design objects that starts from the most relevant sector of Made in Italy, and we know that fashion sector is one of these. So we designed, we conceptualized, thanks to Amet Lab, and realized thanks to INF and Gran Sasso, and accessories. That is, we decided together that is a necklace that consists in that is realized in an additive manufacturing technology, and combine in this object also some sustainable and circular economy needs, perspectives. So we realize this, we conceptualize and realize this object in form of a prototype, starting from a company need that is the scraps, the disposal of some scraps, some textile scraps. We decided to shred these scraps and to mesh up in a polymeric resin. That is, this mesh up is the input for the additive manufacturing, the 3D printer. And so this prototype consists in modular components. So its design can be very, very original, because the pattern and the density, the difference mashup of the color give it this originality. But this is a prototype, but in the future this object can be scaled up in different accessories that can be a button of a jacket, a pin in a jacket, in order to scale up this project. But probably this example of multidisciplinarity and creativity, in my opinion, gives the added value to this innovation, this innovative idea.
Fantastic, thank you very much. I do have quite a few questions now. The only thing, you guys went to a very lengthy and omnicomprehensive answers, and I can feel Joseph's eyes. You know, I feel the presence. So I would like just to say a big thank you to all three of you. Thank you very much. Two questions from the audience.
Hi, this is a question for Carmela, as she's the brand expert. As a small brand, or even maybe a large brand, how important is it to have a mantra?
Oh, the mantra is the strategy, is exactly what you have to reach and what you want to reach. And it comes from, let's say, an interaction between brand positioning, is exactly how do you like that the market can and internal positioning. So external and internal. And you need to have your mantra. Otherwise, the mantra is not the slogan. The mantra is something that it's you. You need to inspire the company with this mantra. And you have to find. Usually, we put together three things. The first is the function, so brand, what are you doing? The second is what the, let's say, you can more have underline the description of, and usually we can put something like exactly the segment, and the third one is the emotional. So, three things, and you have to bring with you and with all the people inside the company that works for your brand.
Grazie mille.
Okay, maybe one more question as we're going to the end of the day. If not, so going once, going twice. Oh, there we go. We have a taker.
Many Italian brands are very family-oriented and small, but very classy and traditional, and they keep their heritage. In terms of innovation, what are they doing? Could you tell us, please? Thank you.
For me?
Great question.
I can try to give you an answer. The thing is, and I connected with what they say, that in Italy we have a lot of ideas, a lot. But at the end, what they try to tell us is methods and rigors to do the things. So you need to have good history, okay. It's like the basic, because exactly we live in this wonderful country with a lot of histories, with a lot of heritage brands and so on. But at the end, if you want to have a success on the market, you need to be rigorous to have method for good executions. That's the answer, sorry.
If I can add, I think that if we consider the history, the past, the value that are, of course, we are rich of value, rich of different past, different tradition. These are a critical element for innovating, because they can be an element of unicity, because the tradition cannot be easily replicated, because it's sticky. Each country, each place has a specific tradition, but what the challenge, in my view, is that to reinterpret this tradition, to make this tradition in line with the market needs that are, of course, changing. So the tradition is the baseline, is the value, is what you are selling. But you need to integrate, to reinterpret better this tradition by using also new technology. But it's important, you are not selling new technology. You are selling the tradition reinterpreted by the new technology.
And
Excellent.
in family business,
Excellent.
it's a bit...
I think that for making this, you need to apply what we have tried to call it as innovation through tradition strategy. We need two main capabilities in a company. Of course, the family is more inclined to use this kind of approach because the family is rich of tradition itself. You need to identify the tradition. The tradition can be of a family, can be of a territory, but can be also of an age. If you consider, for instance, the case of Brunello Cucinelli, is using a tradition that is typical of the Renaissance, but it's appropriating a tradition, a broader tradition. You need to interiorize this tradition, so you make this tradition as a part of the DNA of the company, because it's the starting point of your innovation strategy. If you consider the case of Aboca, which is I don't know if it's let me say, there is the center of Italy. Is not exactly a pharma company, but it's operating the natural herb. Is a R&D activity start from the historical museum. So you have historical research plus technological research, but the starting point is in the museum. So they have interiorized all the tradition. And the use of museum, of archives, are not, let me say, just placed to store, but are placed to, let me say, that need to be, to transmit this tradition, to make this tradition still alive. And then the reinterpretation can be done using new technology that are not just, let me say, the core, the value, but are like the actualization rate of your past. You can use, for instance, an e-commerce where you are selling, I don't know, some typical food products, and you can use augmented reality for making people entering into the village. Augmented reality is not an innovation, it's a common technology, but the innovation stands in the fact that you are making, let me say, replicating the way in which you can buy product in ancient village, I don't know.
In fashion industry, you can have Salvatore Ferragamo. It's absolutely. They have the museum, and they work on the museum too, and working in terms of innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Did you have something to say?
Oh, yes, the family picture.
No, no.
I want to join something about what about Professor Ostillio said before. That I think that Italians don't lack in methodological approach in focus, but I think that the reason why we have very often far away from other countries is the fact that we in Italy we are very strictly linked to traditional models, to artisanalism, mainly in fashion sector. So maybe this is the reason why we can. It is very difficult to innovate, to introduce something that is disruptive rather than the traditional perspective.
Thank you so much.